What if the seaside city you see today is only the surface, and beneath it lies a civilization so advanced it rewrites the history of Europe? Varna, the maritime capital of Bulgaria, is today a vibrant, modern, and welcoming city. A place of youth, endless summers, and salty winds carrying echoes of celebration. But beneath this bright facade hides a mysterious past, one that stretches back thousands of years. As we leave behind the noise of the modern city, we begin to descend through time. Centuries fade away, one after another, pulling us deeper into the past. And then, like a vision, a culture emerges, so advanced, so wealthy, that it challenges everything we thought we knew about the dawn of human civilization. This is the true golden beginning of Europe, hidden beneath the layers of time here in Varna. Could this have been the first real civilization in the world? And what fueled such immense wealth 6,000 years ago? The answer is something invisible, yet more valuable than gold. Salt. A small crystal that holds the power of life itself. Without it, the human body fails. Food decays. Entire communities collapse. It doesn't shine like gold, but it controls everything gold cannot. During the 5th millennium BCE, the Balkans became the first global laboratory of human civilization. Settlement density reached unprecedented levels. Massive settlement mounds like Karanovo and Unatsite functioned as proto-cities with memory spanning thousands of years. The Varna Lake settlements were not isolated. They were the engine and central hub of a vast economic system covering nearly 1 million square kilometers, from the Carpathians to the Peloponnese. Trade in salt, copper, gold, flint, and shells from the Aegean Sea created the first complex hierarchical structure in Europe. At the center of this system stood Provadia. Here, salt became the first industrially produced currency in human history. But why was salt so valuable? Because it was the only edible mineral on Earth. It was essential for the human body's electrolyte balance and the proper functioning of the nervous system. It was also the first technology that allowed humans to preserve time, by preserving food for months and surviving harsh winters. So valuable that in ancient times it was called white gold. As a powerful antiseptic and preservative, salt held an almost mystical status. It was used to cleanse wounds, disinfect, and played a key role in rituals. Economically, salt became the first driver of global trade. It forced humans to build roads and fortifications to protect it. But how did Provadia become the engine, and Varna the showcase of Europe's first civilization? More than 7,000 years ago, settlers from Thrace discovered salty springs deep within the forest near Provadia. These springs would turn the region into the economic heart of the ancient world. This is where the first industrial center of Europe was born. The geological foundation of this rise was a massive deposit of rock salt. A salt dome beginning 4 kilometers underground, with a base spanning 15 kilometers. Underground waters passing through it emerged as highly concentrated brine springs. The technological evolution of salt production in Provadia passed through 3 distinct stages. In the earliest period, the early Neolithic, the process was domestic. Brine was evaporated in shallow ceramic vessels over open fires inside homes. The method was primitive, productivity was low, and the air was filled with moisture and salt vapors. As demand increased, the second phase introduced dome-shaped furnaces, still located inside homes. These allowed higher temperatures and better control, but turned the settlement into an almost unlivable environment due to constant smoke and corrosive conditions. Archaeological layers show high concentrations of ash and salt residues in living areas. To solve this, production was moved outside the settlement, onto a specialized platform near the salt spring, about 120 meters away. There, long rows of furnaces were built, enabling large-scale industrial production. This industrial zone separated labor from daily life and transformed Provadia into Europe's first specialized production center. Life became cleaner. Production increased dramatically. Outside the walls, labor created immense wealth. Inside, silence and structure shaped one of the earliest complex societies. The fortified settlement itself underwent multiple transformations. It represents the earliest and most massive stone defensive system in prehistoric Europe. It included radial walls and bastions protecting access to the salt resources. The diameter of the fortified core was around 100 meters, but the density of construction was extraordinary. The walls were rebuilt at least 3 times after being destroyed by powerful earthquakes. In their final phase, they reached thicknesses of up to 4 meters and heights exceeding 6 meters. At peak production, up to 5 tons of dry salt could be produced in a single cycle. Salt was shaped into standardized molds, which functioned as the first universal currency. The settlement itself was organized radially, with 2- and even 3-story houses built from wooden frames and clay. These structures reached heights of 7 to 8 meters, making them the tallest in Europe and possibly in the world at the time. Archaeology reveals something even more astonishing. Social stratification had already developed to such an extent that we can speak of early statehood. The rulers of Provadia did not simply produce salt. They controlled it. They planned its defense with military precision. The massive stone bastions prove that wealth had already become something that needed protection by force. Without these white crystals, the rulers of Varna would never have carried their golden scepters. The logistics of trade were exceptionally well organized. Analysis shows that salt from Provadia reached territories stretching from the Carpathians to the Aegean Sea. It was transported along rivers to the Varna lakes, and from there by sea and land, covering hundreds of miles. In this exchange, salt was traded for copper, valuable furs, shells, and gold. This transformed Provadia into the oldest major salt production center in Europe, a gravitational center around which the entire peninsula's trade revolved. As a result, the settlements around Varna became the richest in the world. The Varna civilization developed the earliest model of an organized market economy in Europe. Varna itself functioned as a central logistics hub, controlling the movement of goods between the Black Sea and the Balkan interior. Merchants held a key social status. Their gold ornaments were not just decoration, they were symbols of rank and trust in a world without writing. The primary mode of transportation was the dugout boat. Some reached lengths of up to 8 meters and could carry over 500 kilograms of cargo. Archaeological evidence shows Varna pottery found as far as modern-day Ukraine and along the Aegean coast. At the core of this trade network were 3 strategic resources: salt, copper, and gold. The total number of copper artifacts found in the Varna necropolis exceeds 160 pieces, with a combined weight of more than 6 kilograms. On a regional scale, it is estimated that tons of metal passed through the Varna center, distributed northward to the Cucuteni Tripilia culture. More than 12,000 spondylus shell elements were discovered in the necropolis, shells that exist only in the warm waters of the Aegean Sea. These were used as jewelry, bracelets, and decorative elements, functioning as a prestige currency. Settlements along the Varna lakes were positioned at strategic intervals of 3 to 5 kilometers, forming a network that controlled both maritime access and inland river transport. Salt from Provadia, shaped into standardized conical molds weighing between 1.5 and 3 kilograms, served as solid currency. The scale was enormous for its time. Annual salt turnover exceeded 25 tons, supplying markets up to 600 kilometers away. This concentration of wealth led to the first visible social stratification in human history, clearly reflected in the burial inventory of the Varna necropolis. Varna established itself as the first free economic zone. During the 5th millennium BCE, the Balkans were not a collection of isolated settlements, but a vast economic network. A north-south trade corridor formed, connecting the Varna basin with the fertile lands of present-day Moldova and Ukraine. The facts are striking. Over 85% of the copper artifacts found in the mega-settlements of the Cucuteni Tripilia culture were made from ore extracted in Bulgarian mines near Ibanar. Salt from Provadia was equally critical. In the Ukrainian steppes, it was the only method for preserving meat from massive livestock herds. Without Balkan salt and copper, the rise of the northern mega-settlements would have been impossible. This complex supply chain sustained the stability of old Europe for 5 centuries. During the Chalcolithic period, the Balkans became a center of innovation. This is where the first proto-writing systems appeared, engraved on clay tablets. The tablets from Gradishnica and Hotnica contain symbols and pictograms that many researchers consider an organized system for conveying sacred messages. This Danubian proto-writing predates Sumerian writing by nearly 2,000 years. Ceramic production in the Varna culture became a technological revolution. Unlike earlier periods, Specialized two-chamber kilns with vertical flame were used. These allowed precise temperature control between 900 and 1000 degrees Celsius and control over the firing atmosphere. This made it possible to produce different colors, reds in oxidizing conditions and deep blacks in reducing environments. In many elite graves, ceramic vessels were placed as the most valuable offerings, often decorated with thin gold sheets. This shows that ceramics held artistic value equal to metal. The shaping of vessels reveals an early form of mechanization. Craftsmen used slow-turning platforms, achieving remarkable symmetry and wall thicknesses as thin as 2 to 3 millimeters. Archaeological evidence indicates that women were at the center of ceramic production. They preserved complex geometric ornamentation, spirals, meanders, and incised patterns filled with contrasting pigments. One of the most impressive innovations was graphite painting. When fired in a reducing atmosphere, graphite developed a metallic shine resembling silver. Combined with white paste and crushed shell inlays, Varna ceramics became the earliest example of industrial design. Textile production during the Chalcolithic was highly specialized. The main tool was the vertical loom with weights. Materials included linen and hemp, while wool appeared later. Flax underwent complex processing before being spun into fine threads. Clothing was simple in structure but often featured ornamentation and colored stripes. Garments were wrapped around the body and fastened with pins and fibulae. Status was not defined by shape, but by quality and color. Among the elite, decoration reached another level. Gold elements were sewn into garments, symbolizing sunlight and divine origin. Gold was not just a metal, it was a sign of power. For the first time in history, native gold was processed by humans on the Balkans. Early gold artifacts have been discovered across Bulgaria. At Durankulak, some of the oldest worked gold objects in the world were found. At Hotnitsa, gold already had ritual significance. All these discoveries point to a unified cultural context centered around the Varna Lake region. By the middle of the 5th millennium BCE, something new appeared in the Balkans: urban planning. Settlements were no longer chaotic. Houses were arranged in rows aligned north-south, following the movement of the sun. Organized trade and social structure transformed Varna into the first global center of power. At the top of this hierarchy stood the priest-smith. He held the secret of transforming gold into a symbol of authority. Near Varna, the first industry for processing precious metals was born. Complex objects were created through casting, polishing, and the use of graphite molds. The gold was of exceptional purity and worked with techniques that would not be rediscovered for millennia. This industry required immense knowledge, passed down through generations. The priest-smith created the first social hierarchy, dividing people into those who possessed the shine and those who served it. While men dominated metallurgy and external trade, women governed the inner world. In the prehistoric household, women controlled the transformation of matter. Modern science describes this society as matrifocal, centered around the mother and female lineage. Over 90% of the discovered ceramic idols depict female figures. This is not coincidence, it reflects an entire religious system. Without the approval of the priestess, the authority of the priest-smith was incomplete. 6,000 years ago, people in the Balkans lived in a world where nature was not a resource, but a living entity. The highest value was the ability to create life. At the center of this belief system stood the Great Mother Goddess. Burial practices during the Chalcolithic were complex and deeply symbolic. One of the most consistent elements was the use of red ochre, iron oxide. The red color symbolized life force. Sprinkling the deceased with ochre, especially around the head and pelvis, was an attempt to restore life energy for the journey to the afterlife. The Varna Chalcolithic necropolis is not just an archaeological site. It is a turning point in human history. Discovered in 1972, it reshaped scientific understanding. Nearly 300 graves have been studied, revealing a highly complex society. There are three main types of burials: extended, contracted, and symbolic graves without remains, known as cenotaphs. These symbolic graves contain no bodies, but are filled with offerings. Some feature clay masks of human faces, decorated with gold eyes, mouths, and earrings. They are believed to represent ancestor worship or individuals who died far from home. The necropolis contains the oldest processed gold in the world. over 3,000 gold objects weighing more than 6 kilograms. This exceeds all known gold discoveries from the same period anywhere else in the world. Grave 43 is the richest prehistoric burial ever found. Inside lies a man around 45 years old, covered in gold. A symbol appears here, representing divine authority and power. Grave 36 contains a golden scepter, diadem, bracelets, and numerous ornaments. Grave 4 is another remarkable cenotaph, demonstrating extreme social inequality. But nothing lasts forever, even the empire of gold and salt. After centuries of prosperity, collapse began. The main factor was a sudden climate cooling event, known as a bond event. Massive Arctic ice entered the Atlantic, releasing fresh water and disrupting ocean currents. The Gulf Stream weakened. The climate shifted dramatically. The Black Sea level rose. Saltwater invaded freshwater systems. In Africa, drought expanded the Sahara. Temperatures dropped. Rainfall decreased. For a civilization dependent on natural balance, this was the beginning of the end. Droughts intensified. Winters became harsher. Settlements near Varna were threatened by flooding. Salt, once a source of wealth, became a destructive force. Salinization destroyed agriculture. But humans also contributed to their own downfall. Large-scale salt production and metallurgy required vast amounts of wood. Forests were cut down. Without them, soil erosion destroyed fertile land. Settlements began to collapse. When salt and copper disappeared from trade, the entire system failed. The scale of the collapse was so massive that it erased memory of the civilization itself. Or perhaps not entirely. Some of that knowledge may have survived and influenced later cultures. People tried to adapt. They raised their homes, built new floors, fought against water. But the salty environment destroyed structures. Agriculture became impossible. The elite and craftsmen left. Weakened societies became vulnerable. From the east, new tribes arrived. They brought horses, wheels, and bronze. They also brought a new way of life, mobile, aggressive, and warlike. They did not build cities. They destroyed them. With their herds, they were independent from agriculture. Their speed made them unstoppable. And so, one of the most advanced civilizations in human history disappeared. But not completely. It left behind gold, knowledge, and secrets buried beneath the earth. Secrets that still challenge everything we believe about our past. Because sometimes, the greatest civilizations are not the ones we remember, but the ones we forgot.